everybody. This week's question comes from the very talented Charlie Arthur. He's asking the question on behalf of his wonderful new group, Vocalite, who, if you haven't seen him yet, go check him out. Charlie's question is a difficult one to answer. In fact, he didn't even know how to ask it. Through many different paragraphs, in essence, what he was asking is, how do we develop our own sound? How do we develop our own style, our own personality, our own character? How do we become our own young musicians? Now, Vocalite is not a collegiate group. In fact, they are one of the youngest new professional groups that's getting started. They remind me a lot of Pentatonics, three of whom had just graduated high school. That's the case for Vocalite as well, and it is incredibly encouraging to see young musicians getting started at that age. And if you think it's too early for a band to be great, I offer Exhibit A, The Beatles. Exhibit B, actually most other bands through history. They start right out of high school. They start in their late teens. Acapella is different. Groups tend to get started later because of the whole college thing. It's almost like the farm teams going into sports. Anyway, I digress. How do you develop your own unique, powerful sound? All right, here we go. Number one, you need to know yourselves. You need to know all of the members of the group. You need to know your personalities. You need to know your talents. You need to know how you guys all fit together. What are your primary characteristics? Who are you as individuals? Where do you come from in the world? How do you present? These are difficult questions to ask, particularly at a young age, because you're just getting a level of self-awareness, and knowing exactly how you fit in with the rest of the world is not an easy issue to address. However, you can ask friends, you can ask family, you can watch yourselves, you can see what kind of comments people make after your concerts and your videos online, and begin to piece together a picture of how the world sees you as well as how you see yourselves. That's essential. Number two, know your history. How do you fit into the big, broad timeline of, in this case, contemporary a cappella? What are the groups that came before you? Obviously, you're going to know about Pentatonics and maybe the other groups on the sing-off, but how about before that? How about before that and before that and before that? How did doo-wop turn into vocal R&B, become kind of the proto-sound in the late 80s, early 90s when all of a sudden exploded on radio? And then when did vocal percussion start to get integrated into all this? When did that sound start to change the sound of contemporary music? How did the organizations and the internet all influence that and allow a whole new blossoming of new groups? And what are each of those various groups doing? What have they done? What's the current sound of a cappella? How has that changed? Know what has happened before you so you know how you might provide a next step. All right, once you've done that, and it's no small feat, but it is fun, and there's lots of listening to be done. Number three is to know the marketplace. Know the business. Know where money comes from. Know the college market. What is NACA? Go look it up. That's one of the most important organizations that has helped many a cappella groups get their start. How much money is made from merchandise? How much money is made from online videos? How much money are groups making on tour? And how can you get into the corporate world? How can you start doing commercial work and become a bigger part of your own local music scene? All these questions are important to answer because the more money you make, the more freedom you'll have to explore your own sound and to not have to worry about the other things in life that you have to do to make money, be it taking periodic jobs or gigs that you don't necessarily want. All right, next, my favorite step of all, late night diner. You gotta go and discuss your dreams, your musical hopes, your aspirations, the musicians that have inspired you through time, who you want to be like, and how you see yourself fitting in with the rest of this world. You need to talk. You need to think about these things and discuss it as a group, because only then will the stars that you want to follow begin to shine brightly for you. And you need to understand as a group what everybody else's hopes are, everybody else's goals are, because otherwise you might be aiming at 5 different stars, and the further you get along that path, the more you'll be pulled in different directions. All right, once you've got an idea, a bit of a vision of how you can bring something that's new, it's time to start taking calculated risks. Spend time in the rehearsal room. Spend time arranging new songs, finding new sounds, and then get those songs into your repertoire. Put them on stage in front of people. Make music videos and see what the reaction is. This kind of thing doesn't happen overnight by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, this creative process of first deciding what you want your sound or style to be and then developing it could take years. It wasn't like, hey, let's add beatboxing to a cappella, bam, it works. Or, hey, let's add body percussion, bam, it works. No. it takes a long time to figure out how to integrate. Imagine you want to be an a cappella group that's also a dance troupe, okay? Cool idea, by the way. What does it mean to be singing while you're dancing? What kind of microphones do you want to use? Do those labs work? How expensive are they? How are the movements that you make going to affect the sound that you produce? And if you want rhythmic sounds, how do you mic those? Are you able to beatbox into a lab mic? Do you need to have a handheld for that person? If so, how does that affect that person's movement? Or are they on some kind of a stand? I mean, these are questions that get to the heart of what it means to marry dance and a cappella in a completely unified way. And you can't skip over this step. It doesn't just happen. You need to test. You need to explore to make sure this works well. All right. Once you've got some good ideas, once you're off and rolling and you feel like you're moving in the right direction, then it's time to integrate everything together. Your lyrics, your chords, your wardrobe, the fonts on your website, everything about your group should point towards that same goal. Branding is essential, and you want to make it as easy as possible for people who are online to know exactly who you are, what your sound is, what your style is, what you're trying to do. Because honestly, people are online, they're clicking past things all the time. Bam, you want to make a very clear impression right away. That'll help in a big way drawing people in and staking out your own territory. And one last thought, know that it's okay to be derivative. In fact, if you're going to be exploring different sounds and styles, it's going to take time before you know what that is. And the best way to start to move in different directions is to do things that other people have done before. Remember that the Beatles spent a couple years in Germany playing Twist and Shout and Chuck Berry tunes and learning who they were as songwriters, as performers, as musicians. That was an essential step to them being able to later pave their own way because they knew what the road was like behind them. Don't skip over that step. And to that end, it is absolutely okay to work with outside arrangers, outside producers, but I highly recommend you find somebody who's going to really be there with you over time. Ideally, it's a person who's in the same town, who can be there in the recording studio with you, who can be there at video shoots, somebody who understands where you're going, who's there at those late night diner discussions and helping you figure out who you want to be, and then as a mirror, reflecting that back at the most important times to helping being the fifth Beatle, as it were, the next member of your group outside of the people on stage. That can be very helpful. All right, I hope this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, post them below. And, anything comes up or you want to talk about something, but you don't want to post it on here because you got this new idea for your group and you want to know if anybody's done it or who to talk to in your area, different producers, arrangers, groups to listen to, blah, blah, blah. Feel free to contact me anytime. Deke at DekeSharon.com. I will keep my mouth shut, I promise. Ba-da-ba-ba-da, ba-da-ba-da-ba.